What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to the First and Goal 365 nighttime edition. Y'all know I usually don't do nothing at night, but it situations have forced me to have to do something at night. Uh, I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna do my Dame Dash and go over a couple ground rules. Rule number one: no disrespect will be tolerated. Difference of opinion is cool, but disrespect, nah, we're not gonna do that. Anything that you would like to say, you can go ahead on and throw it in the comments. I think I might be able to even send somebody a link if they want to get in on the conversation. Um, However, you might want to dish that or deal with that. It's okay. But I'm not going to be on for long, so I'm going to be very intentional. And hopefully, we can have a dialogue around some of the stuff that I'm talking about. If not, that's cool too. Um, in the background, you can probably see my my lovely lady. She's there to prevent me from getting too petty because it'll happen. Uh, I gotta I gotta protect the brand around some of the things that is being said, some of the things, misinformation that's going out, because I don't like that. Because I don't mess up anybody else's brands with false narratives. I try to keep everything above ground. If I do say something about a brand, it's going to be true. But so let's not beat around the bush. Why am I even on here right now? Well, I'm on here right now because last night was one of the best games that we'll probably have for a while, at least until playoffs, unfortunately, because of the realignment. And that game was between Millbrook and Roseville. And, the lights are on and everybody's shining. It's a great atmosphere for people to be around. It's a great atmosphere for this area. You got two coaches, and y'all know me, I'm going to always promote African American coaches. So you got two black coaches going at it, top programs in the state. Who could ask for anything more, right? And unfortunately, as any sporting event happens, one team is going to have to lose. So unfortunately, the team that had to lose was Roseville last night. Now, for me as a coach, I had conversations with my good friend Richard Ziegler, and that conversation was as such. Millbrook is ready right now. Roseville is still finding themselves. So I picked Millbrook. And because I have relationships, working relationships with both coaches, I ain't talking no stuff one way or the other. I think Coach Marshall is a hell of a coach, and I think Coach Rackley is a hell of a coach. And if you look at the interviews that I've done with those guys, you would see that I don't talk too much about football with them. I talk more so about who they are, their character, and what it takes to be able to manage the workload that they have to stay on top. Not about the kids, none of that. So one of the things that I want to debunk right now, and if you haven't seen the post, go back, unless it's erased, because I'm not erasing anything, because what was said, and if you meant it, you meant it, was by a parent. And the parent said, "You always hate on Roseville. I mean, you always hate on Millbrook. I don't never see you say anything positive about Millbrook, bop, and going in about that, right?" And this is after I posted a positive interview with Coach Marshall, right? So I asked him to erase the post because it wasn't going to end well, because actually I did, in fact, interview a student from Millbrook, Cypher, the middle linebacker. And not only did I interview him, just like I do with all the other student athletes that I do, I put them on national platforms. So those platforms are Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and iHeart. Those are national platforms, right? So we'll get back to why I keep saying national platforms in a minute, because Mr. Palmer decided to go into my inbox and say some choice, little petty words, but it's cool. So I can't afford to have somebody spewing negative things like that, because I have working relationships with the coaches. And if for anybody who has been paying attention to anything that I do, I always end my First and Goal 365 podcast with, if you have a player that would like to be interviewed, hit me up in the DMs, hit me or Coach Brooks up. That's how I get the interviews. I don't fish for kids or anything like that. I don't try to go out and promote specific kids. My platform is open to everybody. And so when I say my platform is open to everybody, you will see if you go look through the history, I got coaches on my platform, I have kids on my platform, I have parents on my platform. Everybody gets a piece of First and Goal 365 because I feel like that's what helps push this narrative in this area of unity, which at times we lack. One of the big questions is, why is this side different than the other side? Why is the East different than the West? Well, I'm not going to speak on all the East. I'm just going to speak on where I live and what I see. The first problem is unity. It's the first problem. Everybody's out for self. It's not about being unified. That's the biggest issue that you have, right? So I refuse to be one of those people that continue to promote division. So there's coaches that I may not like. There are programs that I may not agree with, but you'll never see me promote that, right? And for anybody who's watching that may say, but you say a lot of negative things about Cardinal Gibbons. Pause. I don't say negative things about Cardinal Gibbons. I always say I respect their coaches. I respect their programs. I just don't feel like they should be playing against public schools because there's a different variable in public schools that the private schools don't have to deal with. And that's, I can pull kids from anywhere. That's it. The only way you can do that if you're a public school is if you are a magnet school. Every school in Wake County, Durham County, Johnston County, every school is not a magnet school. So that means there's an unfair advantage because you can get kids from anywhere. That's my only beef. Other than that, I respect everything about them. As a competitor and a guy who has had to coach against Cardinal Gibbons, do I like them? No. Why? I've never beat them. What are we talking about? But do I respect them? And then off the field, is there any beef or issues or problems? Absolutely not. Would I go on anybody's platform talking crazy? Absolutely not. Whenever you guys see the banter between Ziegler and I, literally Ziegler is family. I don't even consider him a friend anymore. But I never talk about anybody else. I just had this week had a conversation with Mr. Alston from Cardinal Gibbons. We had like a 2-hour conversation, so long that my pizza got cold and was nasty. I had to throw it away just because we were talking, laughing as men. But what I would never do is go on a platform and bash somebody on their own platform or talk crazy about them on their platform without at least saying, can I have a conversation with you first? So that's where we're going to start with that. So I got 3 buckets that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get up out of y'all hair. Bucket number 1, don't come to my platform or any other person's platform and bash it without taking time to talk or research. So what I mean by that is you come to my platform and say, I don't interview certain kids from certain schools, but don't realize there's a whole interview sitting out there on national platforms right there, global platforms, for example. So if you were really following me versus just commenting when it's time to hate, you would see that, oh no, oh shit, no, well, I probably should shut up about that. Then you should also pay attention to the fact that I highlighted a coach, your coach from Millbrook. I highlighted him as well in the Jamboree, right? So because I highlighted coaches from the Jamboree, the one thing that was special about all the coaches in the Jamboree was that they were African-American. I'm one of those coaches. Even though I'm not coaching for a specific high school right now, I am an African-American coach. I am not going to shit on an African-American coach. I know that they deal with more than what you all even know because I've sat in those seats. So you'll never, ever get me to bash an African-American coach on any platform ever. It's not going to happen. Even if I don't like you, I'm not going to do it. You know why? Because just because I have a personal distaste for you doesn't mean that the business side of things should be tainted, right? So I can handle my personal business because I'm not in my feelings. I can talk to you and say, yeah, I don't vibe with you. Or I can do what anybody has the option to do, and that's keep your mouth shut. You don't have to comment on things just because you see it. You don't have to comment on certain things because you just happen to scroll by it. If I don't agree, I don't like it. Keep going. It's just that simple. But to intentionally bash somebody else's program and platform is a problem, especially when you look like the person who you're bashing. That's crazy work. That's insane. That's insane. So don't ask why there's problems. This is why there's problems. And you say, well, why are you making it a racial thing? Because I don't see it happening to the platforms that are making money off of our kids. I'll let that sit for a minute. I've learned that in public speaking. You got to take that pause to let it marinate in the spirits of the people that you're talking to. I'll repeat it, by the way. I don't see that happening to the other platforms that are making money off of our student athletes. Now, if I've seen the same criticism from the platforms that were making money off of our student athletes, I wouldn't say anything. I would just say you're an asshole. But nah, it's intentional. It's intentional when you come this way. So my question is simple. What's the difference? What's the difference? So if on my platform, I'm highlighting parents and I'm highlighting students and I'm highlighting counselors and I'm talking to, if I do that on my platform, but then you have another platform that even has a forum where adult men talk about kids, but you never openly bash them, what's your problem? Explain that to me. How is it that you feel like you can come to First and Goal 365 and bash me? You think I'm low-hanging fruit? I don't know. These are questions that I'm putting out there to see if you even watch what I got to say. That's the problem I have. Then there's another platform, right? You have a whole nother platform that nobody even knows who's behind it. Once again, benefiting and making money off of student athletes here. But there's only a handful of people that's ever spoken up against it. And one of them just hit the comments, and that's Omar. I think maybe Michael Campbell might have said something against it. But everybody rallies around it, but don't realize the more you rally around that platform, the more you get that platform page. You don't even know who it is. You don't have nothing derogatory to say. But here I go over here saying, I'm going to make sure I highlight our student athletes, and I'm going to make sure I put these things out there, and I'm going to make sure I do the best things that we can do for our black coaches. And I got another black man talking shit on my platform. Explain that. Explain it. The chat is open. There's 30 people watching right now. Somebody help me understand this. See, you thought it was going to be personal. It's not going to be personal. I'm not that type of person. If I have a personal beef, then I go to you personally. This is more of a morality situation. This is our moral makeup as black people and as black men. So now explain it to me how, as a black man, you find it to be that way, that it's okay. How did it go to misinformation about somebody else's platform? There's no way you can sit here and make that shit make sense. I'm sorry. Because if I've never done it to you and I've only watched in support of you, then don't come over here to me with that. Because I've done that. I've only watched in support. I don't have to necessarily specifically comment on everything. But I watch and support. I'll hit like on the things that you do. Hey, a like and a share goes a long way. But show me where you've done that for me. So like I said, I don't have no personal things to go out and make personal videos for. My vapors is I'm checking your moral character. So what's wrong with this area? That's what's wrong with this area. The character of this area is screwed up, and it's been screwed up since I've been a head coach. That's the bottom line. We can't openly celebrate everybody. Everybody get their little piece of success and they hold on to it. I finally got an opportunity to get the brothers in the room to be like, hey, yo, all these black coaches, let's highlight each other. Let's go from here. Let's go from there. We get everybody in the room. Everybody shake hands. Yo, let's do it. So I'm about to shake your left liver again, sir. And I refuse to say your name because I'm not going to highlight your platform. So if anybody wants to know who I'm talking about, just go back and review the comments of the day. You'll see who I'm talking about. I'm not going to highlight your platform because that's what you want me to do. I'm about to put that out there too. But here's what I'm telling you. We all sat down and talked. All the coaches that's in the jamboree. One of the coaches happens to be Millbrook's coach. Everybody just said, let's have a good time. Everybody said, yo, let's just do this. But I found the need out of my heart to say, nah, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna give bread to the kids and the teams that's a part of the Jamboree. First and Goal 365 is going to donate money to the programs that were participants of the Jamboree. Name one other platform that's donating money back to the programs that participate in their Jamborees or anything. Name one. Name one. You can't. So once again, tell me why you hating. What you hating on me for? So not only am I supporting by interviewing the programs or kids in the programs, highlighting the positivity of the coaches from the programs, then I'm donating bread to the programs, looking out for us. But I got one of us on my threads trying to cut me at the knees. Explain that. Can you explain it? Then talk shit and say, oh, your little local platform. Wow. You got in the inbox and said, well, could you at least put me on so I can speak my voice on, I guess, your local platform? And I just told you that we took kids from every interview, and those kids are on Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, and Apple. Who else that's interviewing kids around here? Who else has that ability? And who else has done it? I'll wait. Who else has done that? Waiting. Like, if anybody else can show me one person that's doing it, I will gladly say, oh, I'm sorry. I think we might have somebody that might be putting them on Spotify, but I think that's grit and grind. And those guys they're in Rocky Mount. They're not here. I'm talking about right here. Who does that? Nobody. So once again, tell me how I'm hating when I take the bread, because it costs money to do that. That's also what y'all don't know. It costs money to be able to put these kids on the platforms. Y'all see any sponsors around there? Y'all see any sponsors on this podcast? So that means I take the money out of my own pocket to make sure I can highlight this area. Anybody else doing that? I'll wait. I'll give y'all that uncomfortable pause again. I'll wait. So I don't think we should continue with the distaste for Block and the misinformation about his platform. The reason why I stopped is because of this. Because I ain't got that to do. Because here's the problem. Many people think my coaching career started in North Carolina. And that's sad. You can Google me and see the first thing that pops up is a Nike profile. That Nike profile takes you back. I've seen football in other areas. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My coaching started in 2004. So I'm not new to any of this of what you see. I've watched it. And if you paid attention to my platform, you would know who my mentor is. Matter of fact, he's on TV right now. Terry Smith, who now is at Penn State. When I was just starting out, I learned underneath him, who was a nationally recognized program at Gateway High School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And before him, I coached at Woodland Hills High School in their middle school program. Middle school program, Woodland Hills High School. Where's Woodland Hills? Woodland Hills is where Gronkowski came from. Steve Breston came from. Jason Taylor came from. Joy Taylor went there, but she was homeschooled. This is where these people come from. This is where I lived. This is where I come from. Penn Hills. I coached at Penn Hills High School. Who comes from Penn Hills High School? Aaron Donald and a whole list of others. So like before even coming here, that's the neighborhood of people I have. Then I came to North Carolina. So when I say the things I say about North Carolina, it's because where I come from, football is a totally different animal. Totally different animal. So when you say what's wrong here, oh, the biggest issues here, I can give you those biggest issues. The biggest issues is right here in Wake County, you got 4 schools too close in proximity. Southeast Raleigh, Enloe, way too close in proximity. And they share the same middle schools. So then now the talent doesn't get a chance to get into the same school. It gets split. Broughton, Athens Drive, too close in proximity. So then now you got to, once again, you're splitting the talent. Instead of those schools being one school, you got to split the kids in between the schools. And you say, well, ask me how I know. You forget I was a high school coach at Enloe. And I knew that some of my kids had to go over to Broughton and some of my kids had to go to Southeast Raleigh unless they did what? Got into the magnet program. But then if your magnet program doesn't offer something that a parent likes, then guess what? They don't go to your school. These are things that y'all have no idea about. And this is why I created this platform, so that y'all can hear things from a coach. I'm not a fan. I'm one of them. And a lot of coaches don't like the fact that I tell. It's like magicians who go on and tell other magicians tricks. They don't want you to know this. But here y'all go hating on this platform, but I don't see it for the other ones. Tell me how. And it's, hey, once again, y'all have seen me say I support NC Sports Page because he's tricked everybody to believing in what he's producing, and y'all follow it. That's not his fault. I promise you I support it. It just showed me I'm working too goddamn hard. But tell me how a person that nobody knows floats to the top using other people's content. Shit is genius. But then I don't see nobody but a few people commenting negatively over there. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And I see, like I said, I see people watching. Comment. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me like, nah, Block, you gotta chill out, bro. You're talking crazy. I'm more than willing to listen. I'm more than willing to listen. So what I've been shown is you have to lie to the people because they get famous, and you have to talk crazy to the people because they get famous. But then if you're just here giving true information and being straight up honest, yeah, that don't cut it. That's what I see. Then you wonder what's the problem. The problem is you believe the lies. So when somebody's telling you how recruiting goes, you get told, yeah, that's not it. That's not it. Nah, you're just hating. You're not hating. You're explaining to people exactly what happens, because unlike many of the coaches who you guys have, I have sat on both sides of the table. So then you immediately get discredited as if I hadn't had to recruit kids while coaching at Shaw, because that shows your value of what you think of Shaw. Let's just be honest. So you don't see it as he's an NCAA coach. If Nick Saban told you that shit, you would go with it. But why would you go with it? Because he's Nick Saban. It's Alabama. But you don't realize it don't make a difference. We all recruiting the same damn kids. So if I'm telling you how it works as a recruiter who has sat on the opposite side of a high school desk and had to recruit kids, and I'm telling you exactly what we're looking for and what will work and what won't work, oh, you're a hater. Okay. No, I'm just not telling you what you want to hear. Then I'll flip the coin and tell you as a high school head coach as well, hey, man, y'all got to do some work. Why? Because you don't have to recruit somebody's kid. You don't have to be able to, that's not a part of your job description. All that shit is extra. So these are the things that you need to know to protect yourself. Oh, you hating again. Then all of a sudden, once your kid graduates and he don't get what you think he should get, then it's let's call block. If you don't believe me, ask my fiance. She sees it. She's been with me long enough to know exactly what's going on. And I know I shouldn't have included her because she probably like, get the hell out of here with that. But she's watched it. Ask Richard Ziegler, who I helped take him through the recruiting process. He's watched it. I'm not lying to y'all. I'm telling y'all the truth. But the problem is this platform is too honest. Y'all want me to put baby powder on asses. But the problem is only 3% of the students that are even playing ball are going to college in the first place for football. And then let me give you the next statistic. 3% go in there, and out of the 3%, 45% drop out within the first semester. Of that 45% that drops out in the first semester, 77% is African American. I know my shit. So while y'all around here dreaming and all that stuff, and I'm telling y'all, nah, you got to be careful. This shit is a business. While y'all sitting here talking all this, oh, my son this, my son that. Nah, you got to be careful. It's a business. But if I was just to promote your kid and not give no content and not say anything and just put out flyers and put out top 10 lists with half-ass stats that are on Max Prep, how do y'all put out top 10 lists and the stats on Max Prep don't be right? How? I wanted to do a top 10 list. Everybody don't have their stats updated. So how do y'all do that? From your eye? So y'all watching all the film? Are you kidding me? How do you do that? And once again, somebody tell me I'm lying. The state, across the state, half of the damn people even put updated, correct damn stats up. And y'all got top 10 list. And parents go for the shit. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So it's me. I'm the problem. So then maybe the goofballs that watch this program today that's watching, waiting for me to give you a bone and I'll never give it to you, maybe I should do what they do. And that's post dumb shit just so I can see kids get hyped up just to be let down. I refuse to do it because nothing hurts me more than seeing parents and student athletes hurt by a system that nobody taught them about. I try to teach you as much as I can because it's a dog-eat-dog world. Right now, look at what's going on with recruiting. It's pretty goddamn quiet. And I know one thing, the coaches are on the road, but it's pretty damn quiet around here. It was popping for a second. It ain't popping so much no more. Why? These are the questions that you got to ask. Well, wait, whoa. Things have slowed down. Why everything slowed down? Because recruiting never stops. It slowed down because the competition in college that you guys are seeing, where some of these bottom tier programs are competing and beating some of these top programs that are top 25, it's because they have transfer portal kids, not high school kids. So people are getting in these programs and getting in these and taking these kids out. And guess what? If your kid's not within the top 1.5%, you can forget it. But you need to know how to get into that top 1.5% and be seen. But on this platform, that's what we talk about. So then tell me what I should do. I'm looking at the comments right now. Tell me what I should do. Should I flip the switch and start giving y'all the baby powder ass treatment? Is that what you want? Because that's what goes. Y'all make these people famous with half-ass information. You just want your kid to be seen. Then when he don't get where he needs to go, then, oh, it's the coach's fault. No, it ain't. It's not in his contract to get your kid recruited. How do I know? Because I had one of those damn contracts. Nothing in that contract said I had to take kids to camp, refer them to camps, be there to talk to coaches. None of that. That's all ethical. That's ethics. Okay. None of that. None of that happens. That's not mandatory to do. So what are we talking about? This is what I'm saying. So when somebody like, well, Block, why are you spazzing? Because don't come to my platform with the bullshit. Not when I'm promoting people. I'm promoting this area as best as I can. I'm only one person. And everybody got to get a taste. So we'll promote the people who are winning, but I'm not going to down those who are losing as well. I'm not going to do it. And especially if they're black, I don't give a damn who's in their feelings about it. Watch the videos that I made for the Jamboree of every single coach. I strategically asked each and every coach, do you feel like there's a difference between you and our counterparts? Every last coach said yes. We're not all crazy. But what's the difference? The difference is, hey, man, you don't need to be just leaving another school to try to go to another school. You need to sit your ass down and wait your turn. Or maybe you need to get better. You don't need to try to go over this school and think that the grass is greener over there and the coach got a magic wand to recruit you. That shit ain't true. Sit your ass down. The grass ain't greener over there. See, that's the type of conversations that need to be had. Not feelings being hurt and kids jumping ship on coaches. That shit is corny. But that's not by the kids. Adults have to sign these papers. Adults have to do this. But then what drives that? They look at social media and they see these platforms with these bogus ass stats and these bogus ass top 10s, and they say, my kid needs to be in that. And anybody who says anything different, you a hating ass person. That's what they tell you. That's who you are. So that's me. I'm a hater because I tell you different. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for somebody to get on and say, Block, you fat ass, you're lying. Tell me, put me on. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. See the difference between those other schools, right? I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna put y'all in my world because I got a little bit more time. I don't want to eat up time before Santana and those guys start because they got their thing going on too. And please make sure you go support Word of Mouth podcast with Santana and Coach Phil. Go support that, right? So now let me put y'all into this as well with these programs. Here in Wake County, there are certain schools that are supposed to be at the top and they get the resources to stay there. Now you can decide what schools are there. But there's a reason why you see the same schools at the top. And you're going to say, well, why do you know that, Block? Well, because I was sitting in these meetings with these guys. I was sitting in the meetings when people talk about what schools need to be highlighted. And I don't just mean coaches. I mean administration. I mean the main offices. Hey, man, whoa, what the hell you got going on? What you mean? We're not a sports school. We're an academic school. We're the largest magnet school in the county. So you better figure out a way to put a twist on this. Oh, okay. I get you now. I pick up what you're putting down. There are certain schools that need to be in the front. And they ain't the schools that's downtown. They're not the schools on southeast side. They're not the schools over there on the north side. They're not. That's not the schools. It's not the schools. And I don't give a damn what anybody says. They're not going to get the support that other schools get. And when you start to even the playing fields, then you'll get shit that happens to you to make the playing fields kind of, uneven again. That's why you see the same teams in the playoffs every year. And then what happens with that? Parents support it. They move their kids. I want my kids to go over there. Okay, so the rich get richer. And then, well, why is this school? Why aren't they as good? Well, because the resources are leaving the school. Now, am I a person to judge what parent should do, what they should do with their kid? No, but I think we should be honest about the situation. And when you become honest about the situation, then now you can answer the question of why we're in the situation that we're in. Why does it look this way? Why is the scope of this way? And stop lying to ourselves and acting like coaches aren't going through hell. Here's the thing. Notice none of the coaches are saying anything. They just got to eat it. Because then you can be blacklisted and me on a podcast telling everybody the truth and they won't believe you. I'm just telling y'all what I know. So now that I have the information, I can't get back in. They won't let me. Wake County wouldn't let me back into a school if their lives depended on it. No, hell no. We seen what you did. We can't have that. Nah. Especially if the coach doesn't have the backing of the administration. Everybody has to be involved in that. So when you got people hating on you right there, like, you got fans hating and people telling you what the shit that you ain't doing is right, you have no idea the battles that these coaches are putting up with outside of just the kids. The politics of this game is insane. So it doesn't really matter. And we don't win these politics. We don't win them at all. And that's all the way down to kids getting the ability to be all conference. Y'all have no idea. You can't make bad blood amongst other coaches in the conference. You know why? They vote for your kid to be all conference and you don't get a vote. So you got to put up your name. So you got to play nice. Because if they don't like you, they'll band against you and they won't vote none of your kids in for all conference. You got to play nice. You got to play by the system. Y'all have no idea. And so you have a platform that shares this information and tells you this information and keeps being honest with you. And you got wild ass, weird ass haters. I don't understand that. And I'm going to keep spitting the truth and I'm going to keep telling the stories and I'm going to keep this stuff in the front because nothing has changed. I haven't been a head coach in 5-6 years and nothing has changed. Think about that. 6 years, nothing has changed. The same teams is losing, the same teams is winning. Non-conference don't count because you can set that schedule up. Your athletic director usually looks out for you to give you the easier games so that your team can build confidence. Only the true teams that know they need to be tested early play harder teams because when you get into conference, your conference is usually soft. So you got to play the harder teams so that you can get that work early because you're not going to get it later. But when you're a soft team, you get easier teams so that you can build the confidence and everybody's like, woohoo, we're winners. And then you get into the thick of your conference when you got to start playing real teams and you start getting that ass beat. Then all of a sudden you start talking about moral victories. It's the truth. But what are we talking about here? I don't even know. I'm on bucket 4. I said I had 3 buckets. It's bucket 4 now. Is there anything I'm missing? Let's see. There's a lot of comments. I'm sorry. As a parent that has a student athlete that's about to enter high school madness next year, I need all the gems I can get. I appreciate you, bro. Hey, anything that I can tell you, I'll let you know. You just let me know whatever it is. And I appreciate you, Mr. Melvin. I got to stay true. I can't sell out, man. I refuse to. But what I'm not going to do is let people come over here and talk stuff because my goal is, seriously, all jokes aside, is to promote the coaches that need to be promoted and then make sure that we take care of our own. That's it. It's the bottom line. We got to take care of the coaches that look like us, that put in that time with our children. It's important. It's imperative. Y'all have no idea. That's why I said, I know y'all didn't watch the videos because if y'all watched the videos, there was coaches that literally broke down. They were so vulnerable, they cried. But y'all didn't watch that. So tell me how a coach can be so passionate that he cries and y'all look at him like, we whooped y'all ass. Hey, man, yeah, we won. You know what I'm saying? You get your moment. But then to keep it going, yeah, now we just on some bull. We on some bull because even though he coaches a different team, he's on the same team. That makes you look real lame. And I don't care who you are. I don't care who it is. If it was reversed, right? Let's say it was reversed and it was Millbrook that lost and if it was Millbrook that lost and Roseville won, I would still feel the same way. Nah, man, chill. Coach is doing a hell of a job over there. He's putting together. If y'all don't know, Coach Marshall got a hell of a staff. He has a hell of a staff. He really does. And when you start playing the best, what you got to realize is you kind of remove the kids. It becomes a chess match between the battle of the minds. The kids are just benefactors of the minds. So you coach these kids to do their thing, but most of these kids have absolutely no idea how big the spotlight is or the magnitude of these games. You got to snap them out of it. They're just faking the funk, following the leader until they get out on that field and that first play hit. Then all of a sudden, you start to see their eyes change. But you guys never see the eyes. All y'all see is the helmets. So to motivate people through this, to motivate these kids through it, and to make sure that these kids don't quit on themselves, that's a job in itself. I guarantee both coaches, winning and losing, went home exhausted because of the emotions that you have to carry to lead other men. And then now I got to read this bull crap in the morning. And I felt like that as a coach when I was coaching. Here y'all go. Y'all have no idea the hell I went through from Monday to Thursday, but here y'all go on Friday. And I can take it from certain outlets, but the outlets where people were look like me, like y'all don't know. Y'all don't know I got kids that ain't eating. Y'all don't know I got kids that, they got home situations that I got to worry about. Y'all don't know I got a school that may not be supporting me 100%. Y'all have no idea. But you get on here and talk crazy. It's your moral makeup, man. It's your moral makeup. Nobody said don't cheer. Cheer. Everybody's competitive. You want to win. Straight up. I'm one of the most competitive people in the world. You want to win. But at the end of the day, I don't want to win so much that I forget the fact that there's another human being over there working just as hard as me, that looks just like me, that has the same skin color as me, that has the same type of kids as me, to where now I shit on that person. Nah, I ain't doing it. I'm built different. I won't do it. Even if I don't like you, I won't do it. Great question. What is winning? What is winning? Winning the game or getting the kids in your program in college? To me, it's getting your kids, seeing your kids on the long term. That's winning. You can win the moment. That's the moment, and that feels great, right? But eventually, those moments are over. There's a viral clip of me on TikTok where I told the parents straight up, y'all celebrate, but this is over for us. And this was immediately after the game. Y'all celebrate, but this is over. My coaching staff is already watching today. While everybody fussing in the comments, you want to know what the coaching staff of both teams was doing today? Reviewing the film to see the mistakes and watching the opponents for next week. It's over. It is. And I'm not telling fans and I'm not telling parents to not enjoy and not have fun, but there's a line of fanfare and disrespect. There's a line for fanfare and disrespect. And if you're just a disrespectful person, then like I said, okay, cool. If you're just a disrespectful person, I can get it. But if you only disrespect the people that look like you, come on, man. What we talking about? What we talking about? I don't see nobody disrespect Cardinal Gibbons. I don't see it. I don't see nobody disrespect Cardinal Gibbons. And they are the most disrespectful team possible. They will whoop your ass in the name of Jesus. They do it every week. They will put up 100 points on your ass and then say, here go pizza, put it in your car. We respect you and we'll pray for you on your way home. And you're like, wait a minute, did y'all just whoop my ass? Yeah, we did. But don't nobody say nothing bad about them. Don't nobody say, hey, man, y'all recruiting kids all the way from a different county. Tell me how this kid is in Durham County, but then play at downtown Raleigh right next to NC State. Hold up. Nah, everybody buddy. No, we going to keep them inside of the conference. Why should we care? Now, send they ass to the private school conference where all the private school kids is at. The hell are we talking about? I don't see nobody bashing them. I don't see not one soul doing it, and it's not their fault. So don't even get me thinking it, because if anybody knows me personally, they know I went to a Catholic school. So the reason why I'm so hard on Cardinal Gibbons is because if y'all know me, you know I went to Pittsburgh Central Catholic, which is Cardinal Gibbons on steroids, right? That school takes all the talent from all the other areas in Pittsburgh and puts them on one team, and nobody bats an eye. So me personally, I was supposed to go to Taylor Alderdice. Taylor Alderdice is the school that Curtis Martin went to. Curtis Martin, Hall of Fame running back, right? But because I went to Central Catholic, I didn't have to go there, and they bused me from my crib all the way to Central Catholic, downtown Pittsburgh. So all the way out in a whole different part of Allegheny County, they would bust me in. So I understand what Cardinal Gibbons has. That's why I also say it's an unfair advantage, because I was in it. But y'all don't talk. Nobody says a word negative about them. I don't understand it. Let's see. Hold on one second. I had some comments that I needed to get to. Hold on. I apologize, y'all. Y'all going in. If they knew like I knew, they would heed your advice. You always looked out for me and gave me straight truth. If that's hating, keep hating, bro. Hey, man. Hey, here's the thing. Thank you, Ked. One of the things that I will tell y'all, because I have seen it so bad, I have seen coaches screw kids, and I have seen like parents not know about recruiting timelines and things like that. You know, I'll be vulnerable and transparent. I had 3 major schools when I was coming out of Central Catholic. I had Virginia Tech, Michigan, and Notre Dame. Because I was in the Catholic school system, they asked me, did I want to go to Notre Dame? I'll say that again. Because I was in the Catholic school system, I was asked, did I want to attend Notre Dame? Because of being a black kid with only 9 other black African-American students in my graduating class, I did not want to go to Notre Dame, right? Because my experience was I wanted to be around people who looked like me. So when I graduated from Central Catholic, it was over 200 and something odd students. I want to say 265. The numbers 265 and 270 come in my head. But out of that, there was only 10 African-American students, right? So I shot down Notre Dame immediately. I also shot down Virginia Tech, and I loved Michigan. So anybody who watches my timeline they'll see that I always promote Michigan. The reason why is because at that time, Coach Lloyd Carr, who, you know, was legendary coach at Michigan, actually said, I want you to be here. But during that time, you had like A-Train there, Charles Woodson was there. There was dudes there that I'm looking at with an 18-year-old mindset like, hell no, I can't play here. Then I got a chance to come out the tunnel. And when I came out the tunnel, I seen 106,000 fans cheering. And I'm like, I'm not that good. Meanwhile, the head coach had already shook my hand and was ready to say, come on. So after that, I was there when Michigan didn't even have a Jumbotron. Everybody in the stadium, it was a running joke that you had to stand up, because if you missed the play, you missed the play. So if a good play happened, the whole stadium would stand up, because there was no Jumbotron for instant replay. It was a tradition. When we left there, my mom said, well, what do you think? And I looked my mother in the face and said, this is too big for me. That's why I have First and Goal 365. Because she didn't know to say to me, no. You're looking at this from an 18-year-old eye. You're going to graduate and you'll be in that program and you'll redshirt or you'll do whatever they need you to do. You'll be able to turn into that. Nobody gave me the truth. Nobody told me, hey, man, you're already benching 225 10 times. You squat 600 pounds. You run a 4.5 40. You meet all the boxes for a freshman. You're good. Nobody said that. So then I passed up that opportunity and I ended up at Winston-Salem State University. But I wasn't ready for the culture shock of Winston-Salem State University by going from a predominantly white school to a HBCU. Oh, my God. It blew my mind. It was booty and ass everywhere that I had never seen. Well, guess what? I had to take my ass back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I went to a small school called Duquesne University. So I went to Duquesne University, and I'm a D1 guy with D1 attributes, but it never manifested at Duquesne University. You know why? Because my mindset was I shouldn't be here. So then now the football career that I should have had never happened the way it should have happened because nobody checked on my mentals. This is why I do what I do. Because if somebody would have saved me, it might have been different. So then now when you're hating, just know that you're hating on a person who has a lived experience of what these kids will go through. So if you haven't been through that experience, but you're judging me on why I do what I do, you probably should shut up. That's the God's honest truth. That's why First and Goal 365 exists. As a coach, I sat in a room with a student athlete of mine, a quarterback, who had a 2.237 GPA. The school he was going to said, if you can get it to a 2.3, I got you. The kid couldn't get the 2.3 because of F's that he had his freshman year before he knew me. And I watched the kid cry because the money walked out the door and now he's in the hood. That's why First and Goal 365 exists. I applied for the Enload job in the first place because when I was on the coaching staff at Enload, just as a DB assistant defensive coordinator, I was happy with just doing that, just to be helping out. Then the head coach said, I'm out of here. And those kids were left with nothing. So I said, I'll apply for the job. Something I've never told anybody, but I'll put it out there. They didn't want me to have a job at Enload. It was luck. The principal walked out of my interview halfway through because I was talking about how to change a school and how to change a program. Nah, we don't need that. We just need you to fit in. Why? Because Enload's one of the schools that ain't supposed to be out here winning. It's not. We're an academic school. Hence why when I had a conversation with administration, what I said was, well, what is our school game plan? We got to be able to mix academics and athletics. Okay, then I'll take the smartest kid that I got and put him in the forefront. His name is Hamilton Moore. You're in the forefront. He wore number 21. I said, you can't wear number 21 anymore. You're number 1. Why? Because you're the face of the program. You got a 4.25 GPA. This is the direction that we're going in. And then the guy behind him with all the offers, you, sir, are going to Duke. Because that's the best place for you for the long haul. This shit is business. People have to know this. It's not about fanfare. It's about business. And the sooner that we learn that as a community, the better off these kids will be. Everybody else is worried about how they can make money off of your child. All you want to do is just sit in the audience and cheer or be a fan that just talks shit on outlets that tell the truth. All of this is business all the way around. Conversations are had about how to market your kid from day one. The question is, what do you know about the business? That's what First and Goal 365 is about. What do you know about the business? And if you don't know about the business, I'm going to teach you about the business so that you don't look back and say, damn, we played 4 years at a school and didn't get nothing out of it. So when you criticize First and Goal 365, just understand what you're criticizing. When you talk shit on First and Goal 365, please just understand what you're talking shit on and know that I'm not going to tolerate it because I don't see anybody talking about the other platforms. I ain't even have time because Santana and them start at 9. I ain't even have time to go into the Jamboree fiasco of people dissing my Jamboree and not giving any platforms or light to my Jamboree. But then we go over to the ones that have been canceled 2 years in a row and we shine all the light on that. Y'all got to be kidding me. Y'all got to be kidding me. I had people who didn't show up at my jamboree because there was a shooting at the one the day before. Only for the jamboree that we have to have absolutely no problems in a city that people thought it would be fight after fight after fight. Y'all got to be kidding me, man. Not one major media outlet showed up, and all were invited. So y'all tell me what's up, man. So do me a favor. We'll do this again, because I didn't even get a chance to put my man under the bus. Kind of went on a rant, but it was relevant and it needed to be. And I thank y'all for staying in. Oh yeah, and we paid the schools. I thank y'all for staying in with me. And maybe this will just be something that I do. Thank you, Krishana. Thank you very much. Maybe this will be something that I'll do on a consistent basis, where I just come in and let's just talk about what the fuck is really going on. I'm sorry for cussing, but I get frustrated with people who ain't got no stake in the game with so much mouth. Shut up. Shut up. Appreciate you too, coach. Appreciate you. Like, stake in the game. You ain't got no stake in the game, but you running your mouth and have no idea what these coaches is going through. Shut up. Because don't nobody get in your business. Now, if somebody got in your business, then you have the right to retaliate and open fire on whatever's happening. But if ain't nobody getting in your business, man, shut up and support these coaches and support these black coaches. And if you haven't had a true intimate conversation with these black coaches to find out what they're going through, have a conversation with them and be the person to help them. And this is what I'm going to leave with. Anybody who has a problem with what I do or anything like this, here, do this. Match me on how much money I donated to every single school in the jamboree out of my pocket. Shut me up by doing something like that. So then DM me right now and say, well, coach, how much money did you put up? And then match me on the money for the school that you support so much. So if you support Millbrook and you die hard Millbrook and you Mr. Millbrook, match me on how much money I put up to donate to the program this year. And I'll say that for anybody in any of the schools. I bet you I won't get DMs about that. Share that part. Match me, because First and Goal 365, I don't have my shirt on. I got my Coach Block shirt on. But First and Goal 365, we put up bread out of our pocket. So then now, if you that type of person, match me. And I'll be glad to tell you how much each team got, and let's see if you can match it. Let's see how much money we can get for these teams before the season starts. That's a great fundraiser. Or are you just somebody who's going to sit there and criticize somebody else and run your mouth? I don't got all that personal stuff that everybody else is going. I'm about these kids. So if you about the kids, then you holler at me. So put up the bread. And anybody who's watching this, put up the money. If you say, well, coach, how much money did you put up? I'll be glad to tell you. And let's see if you match it. And let's let that be the new fundraiser for these schools. Nah, when we all putting up the bread as a community for these teams. So that now we ain't got to worry about how much money is going to these teams from the county. I'm telling you now, the schools don't get money from the county. They don't. They get whatever they get fundraised. That's it. And then some schools have to share the fundraising money. So that's why I felt like I needed to donate to specifically the programs, because the programs have to share the money. I know this for a fact. So anybody who got any issues, anybody got any problems, here's where you can shut me up. Put up the bread. Y'all have a good night. It's 9:00. Make sure y'all go over to Word of Mouth and see what Santana and them is talking about tonight. And we'll do this again, man. Thank y'all for staying in with me. And thank y'all for y'all continued support of the First and Goal 365 podcast. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.